Vitamin K! Doesn't really look like a K, but know that it's good for reducing calcification of arteries, especially K2, of course, is really what we're talking about here. It's also good for bone health, right? Because it makes sure that the calcium goes into bones. We know that if we take D3, we should take K2 with it, right? 80% more K2 to D3 as a ratio. At least Examine says that, but there's different stuff on the internet. But did you know that vitamin K2 actually can reduce leg cramps? Leg cramps? What? We never even heard of this until recently. And it's amazing because, you know, sometimes you're looking for one thing, it's just so cool, you're looking for one thing, and then you find something else that you didn't even take into consideration, and you find some amazing benefit of a vitamin, mineral, or supplement, or whatever, amino acid, that you never would have found had you done this study, right? And the recent study that found vitamin K2 to reduce leg cramps involved around 200 people. I think it was 199 older adults. It was a randomized control trial. They gave them 180 micrograms of vitamin K2 in the form of MK7. Now, this form of minaquinone, or vitamin K2, it's just another fancy name for it, can either be synthesized artificially, right? Or you could get it from Japanese soybeans, fermented food, Natto, right? They could extract it from. But regardless, they had this MK7, 180 micrograms. They gave it to them every night for 2 months. And they found at the end of the trial there were significant reductions in leg cramps. Very significant. So it seemed really effective for this purpose. And what is the deal in general with leg cramps? If you take K2, is it going to work right away? Is it going to help the more you take it? Well, interestingly, in this trial, it increased in effectiveness throughout the trial. Up until that last week, they were having even less and less, fewer and fewer leg cramps, right? So what's the deal with leg cramps? What's really causing it? Well, we don't quite know the exact root cause of leg cramps today, but we know that it involves overexcitation of muscles from nerve impulse, right? And so however that is, it had been, previously thought that the best thing to do is tell people to stay hydrated, which doesn't hurt anyway. It's definitely still a good idea. And to give them magnesium, right? At least many healthcare providers may have recommended that, myself included. Hydration hasn't actually been shown to be a cause of leg cramps definitively based on human clinical trials. And as far as magnesium goes, it has shown some benefit in terms of leg cramps, but really just small effect size, right? So no major benefit here. Now, leg cramps affect around 50% of people at some point in their life, especially the elderly and especially at night, right? So remember, again, they were taking this K2 at night. If you want to talk to your doctor about taking it, this isn't medical advice. Take any prescription, medication, anything like that. Talk to your doctor on trying to treat, diagnose, cure, prevent any disease. Boom, disclaimer. So now, in comes K2. Why is K2 helping to reduce leg cramps? Well, vitamin K2 helps to form many different proteins in the body, namely vitamin K-dependent proteins. There's like 19 of them or more or less or whatever. There's a good amount of them. And what they do is they bind to and utilize calcium for a myriad of purposes in the body. Enzymatic reactions for structural purposes, all sorts of things involved in reducing calcification of arteries, like what we've said, because vitamin K2 makes sure that the calcium gets deposited into bones and not into our arteries or other smooth muscle or other soft tissue in the body, because that would not be a good thing. So we don't want that. So it's definitely good for that. And that's why, again, it's top supplement for bone health, right? But these proteins, they then make sure that calcium goes into bones, okay, but calcium is also involved in muscle contraction. So maybe, and they don't know the exact mechanism as to how this is happening, this is really new research here, maybe it has a little something to do with that, right? These vitamin K-dependent proteins affect on calcium and hence muscle contraction. Now what's super cool is how they found this. So relatively recently, they did a study in China. It was on a bunch of kidney dialysis patients, and they wanted to see the effect of vitamin K2 supplementation on arterial calcification. And yeah, they found some benefit. But what they found as an outcome that they never had even thought would be a thing, really and simple, was that it reduced leg cramps in all these people. So they're like, wow, let's do another study, right? So then they did another follow-up study very recently, just came out. on a bunch of people, as we just said, around 200 people that have leg cramps, broader spectrum, more generalized population, and they found, just what we said, vitamin K2 could reduce leg cramps. So where do you get vitamin K2 in food? Well, really animal sources, right? Meat, right? So really just think meat. In terms of vitamin K1, that's more involved in blood clotting itself, and that is something, phylloquinone, right? If you were curious, the other name, that's something you find in plant-based foods, right? So both are good, and we could use both, but the one we're really talking about here comes from meat. Can your body make it? Well, your body can synthesize out of the fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K. It can synthesize vitamin D, right, from the sunlight, of course. We need some sunlight. And you also find vitamin D in some foods, like salmon is the highest, and some other foods. Egg yolk has some. But vitamin K2, we can only make very little bit of it, and it's from our gut bacteria. So especially if you have gut dysbiosis, an imbalance of beneficial or harmful bacteria, you don't have a robust gut microbiome, you're probably producing almost none, and even if it is healthy, you're producing very little. So you want to get it from food first and foremost, but if you're going to take it as a supplement, talk to your doctor about MK7 or vitamin K2. That's what we got for you guys today. Super cool, I thought. Leg cramps, vitamin K2, gist. Didn't even need to watch the video, that's what you got. Who do we got out here? Ivan, what's up? Thanks, brother. I look like a hot dog. I guess if I had a red tie, that'd be perfect. Mafi, how you doing? Frank in the middle. Meg, what's up, baby? How you doing, girl? Sevilla, what's up, pretty lady? Yeah, you should tell Mike. Vitamin K2, Julian, how are you? Dave Beast from the East. Thanks for the great spot today, brother. Appreciate that. Couple spots. You the man. Help me get a good workout. Marcus, appreciate you, dude. Well, as for now, so we got for you, folks. We'll see you tomorrow, baby. Not sure where, not sure when, but we'll see you then. Have an amazing rest of your night. Thank you very much, and happy Wend Wellness. See ya.